Today, we are going to be talking about anxiety. We're going to be talking about some of the effects of anxiety and obviously how to resolve them. So I'm going to start the video by talking about some of my own experiences. I'm not going to take too long in this area because I want to give you guys what you need. Then talk about some of the effects and how to resolve anxiety. I didn't actually experience anxiety much myself, actually at all to be fair, until 2020. So in 2020, I was going through a number of different, let's say, challenges. Some of these involved, just to be quick, accommodation, finances, relationships, lots of other things going on around at the time. It really hit me hard. Like, it actually did really hit me hard. There are a number of different sort of emotions and experiences I felt, but they changed me actually for the better, right? That's what I want to allude to with you guys. I want to basically say that even though you're going through maybe hard times or in anticipation of something, I don't have the skills, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the strength, I don't have the mindset, I don't have the motivation, or I don't have something. You're lacking in something. You're lacking in something, and on top of that, you're in anticipation of something that's sort of coming up, and that's what's creating your anxiety. You're looking into the future and you're like, I'm lacking in some area. There is something that I don't have. I don't know if I can handle or tackle that situation and scenario. That is essentially what is creating your anxiety. And what I want to say to you is that you don't necessarily need to look upon it that way. That kind of perspective gives you anxiety because you're looking at it in that light, in that frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about a frame that you could acknowledge that paradigm that can actually shift how you look at it and also give you the benefits thereof. When I'm looking at some of these things, oh, okay, I don't have the skills or the knowledge or the strength, etc., 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 it actually excites me. These types of situations, challenges, experiences, paradigms, they are golden opportunities for growth, development, self-improvement. That is how you should look at them. Because every single challenge that you take on grows, improves, molds you as a person. It changes you. It changes not just your mindset, but your soul, your physicality. It changes you on so many levels you don't understand. Some you're not even perceptive to. That is how you should look at these scenarios, because each one is a golden growth opportunity that can change you and enrich your life in a different way. So before, when you were creating or when you're engulfed by anxiety, it's because you're looking at a paradigm through a certain frame, almost negative. It's looking from a different perspective, one of weakness, one of great detriment, because it can become debilitating when anxiety is just so extreme, so overwhelming. By changing how you look at these certain paradigms, that allows you to understand how you're really going to be experiencing scenario and situation. When you've dealt with something that you've found overwhelming, maybe a little bit too much, strenuous or challenging in the past, how did that work out for you? It's most likely you still tackled and went through the experience and leveled up in some way, especially if you took that challenge with winner's mindset. Even if you take L's, those L's are going to be converted into learns, and that you are going to improve from that experience. Even though it may not overall have gone the way that you wanted it to go, you've still gained something from that valuable lesson that you can use, grow and learn from and improve from. Maybe more strength, maybe more knowledge, maybe more understanding of the space that you're in. Whatever it was, you gained and grew as a person because of that experience. And those are challenges and experiences that you've already had yourself. The new ones will feel overwhelming because essentially, like I said before, you lack something, or you think you lack something in relationship to that challenge. So that gives you anxiety. It may be knowledge of that space. It may be lacking of experience in that space. All kinds of things. Oh, maybe I'm going to this convention. I don't know anybody there. I don't know how everyone will be with me. I don't know what they're going to teach there. I don't know if I can absorb all that information. I don't know if I'm going to feel comfortable there. It's fine. Because you're going to go and you're going to find out. And even if you don't feel comfortable there, even if people don't res with you that well, even if the information is a bit too overwhelming, you're going to be smarter and more adaptable going to that experience rather than avoiding it altogether. And it's the same with sport. Maybe you're at a finals game or a championship game. It kind of almost doesn't matter if you win or lose. You'll have been challenged in some way. Being in that high pressure environment, that's increased mental toughness, durability. You've got fitter because you've faced stronger opponents, more challenging opponents, faster opponents, smarter opponents. Same with an exam. It kind of almost doesn't matter pass or fail, because in essence, you'll probably learn more from failing the exam. I'm not saying, yo, that's what you should aim for, because it's not. But even if you fail the exam, it takes a lot to pick yourself back up. It really does. It takes a lot, because you likely spent a lot of time, effort, and energy preparing. And then you take an L and you're just like, frick. You know, but then you pick yourself back up and you go at it again, and maybe you're nervous again. Maybe you're like, oh man, I don't know if I know enough. I'm anxious, I'm apprehensive again, like etc. But it's okay, because it's a golden opportunity to strengthen all of those areas that you deem weak, that you're insecure about, that you don't quite know if you have enough in that area. It's okay, because that's what that challenge is for. It's to grow you as a person so that you can become much more enlightened, much more durable, stronger, smarter, well-rounded, more apt, more adept in lots of different types of situations. It's a golden opportunity, and that's how you should look at it. You should be excited for it. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely how I see it, and I think by looking at it through that kind of lens and perspective, I think you'll understand that it really, really is a golden opportunity for you too. Okay? So that's definitely one way that I want you to see it. Now, there are going to be occasions where paradigm or a challenge is almost completely overwhelming, right? And you may feel that sometimes, hey, it actually is completely overwhelming for me, right? And those are times where you're going to need to bring out your core foundations, your strongest qualities, and hold true, steadfast, really dig your heels in, lock in and focus, right? And when you're locking in and focusing, you're going to need to be smart about how you tackle these things. You're going to need to organize, prioritize, in terms of priority and speed. And then maybe you're gonna do the highest priority one or the fastest ones in order. Or maybe you're gonna delegate, shift tasks to people that you know are capable and that you're confident in, so that that task can be shared and the situation can be managed and handled appropriately. Okay, so do that. Don't panic. Don't go flailing your arms all over the place and all that kind of stuff, because that's not going to progress the situation in the way that you want it to proceed in. So what you need to do is organize, prioritize in terms of priority and speed, okay? And then that will allow you to be able to do your best at the situation in an organized fashion and manner. All right, it's imperative that you do that and control the emotion that you're feeling, anxiety and others maybe, because that will allow you to get the best outcomes for what you desire, okay? And don't underestimate a problem being shared either, okay? So if there's something that's overwhelming for you, share it with people that you know are capable and that you have confidence in, because again, that'll get you the best results, right? If you don't know, then maybe someone else does, okay? And then the other scenario that I want to talk about is that as many challenges as you sort of complete and overcome and learn from, there are going to be more. So you may look at a paradigm in a particular way, like I've said, that maybe you want to entertain doing, and you may organize as best you're able to, like I've mentioned, that maybe you want to consider doing. However, there may be some challenges that you face that are just totally outside your realm of comfort, knowledge, strengths, and that's okay too. Because I want you to know that, like I said before, these kinds of situations are growth opportunities. I think that we each need to kind of understand that challenges are gonna come and that it's okay for us to experience these different types of emotions sometimes. That's why they're challenges, because they are outside of our realms of comfort. If we were totally comfortable with them, they wouldn't be challenges and we wouldn't be experiencing anxiety, because we would know, we would have complete control of that situation, and we would understand the space that it's in, the situation. So that's what makes it a challenge. It's because we don't have all of that information, experience, and maybe even control up front. That's what makes it a challenge. That's why we experience anxiety, and it's okay because those situations do arise. It's how you deal with them, right? I want to talk about some people that are experiencing anxiety in terms of agoraphobia, right? Agoraphobia is where you've got that fear of going outside. I'm not just going to talk about this, by the way. I want to talk about all kinds of anxiety, but this is the one that I'm going to use as an example. So the way to overcome things like this, if you're experiencing anxiety intermittently or on a regular basis, acknowledge it and then start taking steps towards resolving it, right? Now, these don't have to be huge steps off bat. They don't. They can be small steps. So in this example, let's say you're agoraphobic, you feel anxiety every time you think about going outside or even attempting to go outside, you force yourself. You take one step outside the back door and then you take another step away from the back door, okay? So you're outside and then you just stay there for 2 minutes, and then that's your challenge for the day done. Then the next day, 5 minutes and done. 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then you take more steps further away from your back door, outside into your back garden, more steps out. And then you stay there 20 minutes, half an hour. And then once you get to a certain level, then you're doing it outside the front, right? Okay, straight outside the front door, you're 2 steps away. You stay there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, okay? And then you build that up so that you walk into the edge of your front garden, chilling there 10, 20, 30 minutes, right? Per day. And you're walking halfway down your street. Then you're walking all the way down your street. Then you're walking to the nearest park. Then you'll go into town. Then you'll go into conventions, maybe pubs, busier venues, seeing more people. Then you'll go into the city, right? It's buzzing. Maybe you're going to nightlife, raves, other things like that, socializing more with friends, going to places that are much more crowded and lively and active. You've built it up from taking small steps, right? And that's how you progress. That's how you proceed. To do that and to do that effectively, you need to make a promise to yourself, right? You need to make kind of 2 promises really, but one is crucial. The first one is that you won't go back. So you won't go from 5 minutes back to 2 minutes, ever. You're not gonna allow that. You're not gonna allow that with yourself. And I mean that not just with 5 minutes to the 2 minutes. I mean, once you've attained a certain level, don't go back on yourself. Keep pushing it to the next level until that emotion, that anxiety is resolved within you, right? And you don't have to be limited by it anymore. That's what it is. It's debilitating. It becomes limiting, and you don't want that. So keep pushing forward and don't take steps back, okay? And then the second one is, if you choose to stay the same, because at some points you may choose to stay at that same level, right? So maybe you've got to, 10 minutes and you're really struggling and you're like, I'm not going back down. I'm not doing any less than 10 minutes. So I'll just keep it at 10 minutes for however long. The second promise is don't stay there for too long. So yeah, you may be struggling to go past 10 minutes. You've been doing 10 minutes for about a week, 2 weeks now. So this is where the second promise comes into place. Like, don't hold on for too long. Don't go past 2 weeks or a month, right? So going past 10 minutes is really hard, but we're coming up to 2 weeks now. So it's like tough shit. We're doing this. We're staying out here for 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Yes, it may be freaking hard, but that's what challenge is, remember? So we're lacking in something, so we need to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone harder in this area that we're not quite adept with. That's what challenge is. So we're gonna push because we made ourselves those 2 promises, not to go back and not to stay in one area for too long. 2 weeks, a month, max, that's it. We've got to push past it. End of story. Whatever, we're doing it, okay? That's the 2 promises I want you to make with yourself, and I want you to stick to it and hold true to it, okay? That's how we're gonna handle different forms of anxiety. We can either do it step by step, or we could do it all in one go. So day 1, we could just go to a really crowded area like city or, a rave or something, and push ourselves. The way we make the anxiety that we feel today not that bad is by tackling a greater level of anxiety, because then this makes this look silly. It's just eradicated. This doesn't exist anymore because we've done something much more challenging, right? We faced high levels and degrees of anxiety, And that is a method in and of itself of how to reduce anxiety by challenging ourselves with greater anxieties, okay? And another thing is the way I'm speaking now, right? We challenge ourselves with greater anxieties. The focus shouldn't be the anxiety. The focus should be the growth opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying greater anxieties to you because that's currently what you're focused on, which you shouldn't be, right? But even if you are, just know that the greater the anxiety, the greater the growth opportunities, because you're challenging yourself in an area that you feel vulnerable. So that's where the shift comes in. Like every single time you're thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm really, really anxious. Yes, but oh my gosh, the growth opportunities are huge with this. This is fantastic. This is exciting. This is awesome. Just think who I'll become once I take on this challenge, once I complete this challenge. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to be so much more improved. I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to be better. And that's how you should be looking at these things, right? That's the real paradigm here. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're looking towards. And that's that perspective change and shift that I'm talking about. But even if you freaking cannot shift away from that focus, that main focus of, this anxiety, and you refuse to not focus on anything else, just know that the greater level of anxiety you take on, the larger amounts of anxiety levels below that level that you've chosen to take on, you eradicate. So you level up every single time you choose to take on something greater and more challenging, okay? So I want you to see it like that. I want you to remember basically what I've talked about today in the first, if you feel anxiety, it's because it's based on something that you don't know and you're anticipating a paradigm or scenario upcoming that you lack in some kind of area. So that's why you're experiencing anxiety, okay? But know that it's providing you fantastic growth opportunities. Those golden opportunities you want to hold sacred because they make you a better person. You will become and be better by taking those challenges on. So you should be excited and you should be appreciative and you should be hype about that, okay? Then the other area I talked about are when they're going to be overwhelming. You may not look upon these types of challenges so fondly because they may hit a hell of a lot harder. It's in these scenarios that you want to organize, prioritize in terms of priority and speed, and delegate, because a problem shared is a problem halved. And if you've got more people in the game, then that's more halves. You know what I'm saying? De-stresses you and takes away a lot of that anxiety that you may be feeling and carrying on your shoulders and on your back, right? Because more people are sharing the load. But if you have to take that challenge by yourself, or even if you don't have to, it pays to organize and prioritize based on priority and speed, okay? Then I also want to say that it's natural for us to feel anxiety in certain circumstances because the universe is vast, bro. It's very, very, very vast. It's unlimited, right? It's unlimited, sis. So there are going to be a number of situations that you find yourself in where you are lacking in a number of different areas. And it's natural and it's okay. Because like I said, the universe is unlimited. You're going to be in those situations. If you're not, it means you know everything, right? So it's natural for us all to feel some degrees of anxiety if we are challenged, especially if we are challenging ourselves, okay? So just remember, it's mostly a good thing. Again, because it provides those golden opportunities for us, right? And then lastly, like I said, if you're experiencing anxiety that is debilitating, that is not good because, you're not able to do the things that most people are able to do. Okay, I kind of use that term lightly because there's a lot of degrees to that, but you know what I'm saying, like, walking to the shops is not something that many people would really stress about, and doing sort of menial tasks and things like that. If you're not able to do those, it's because your anxiety is too debilitating at this point, in which case you may want to tackle it by small steps or large steps, go at it, hit it hard, go in really crowded areas, do whatever your anxiety is, do it to close to max for you, and keep doing that until it doesn't become a thing for you, right? That's how you get over debilitating anxieties. And yes, I'm not saying it is freaking easy. I'm not saying it's not challenging or scary, but this is where it challenges you. And I'm also not saying that you have to do these things alone. You can do it with other people to, again, share the load. Problem halved is a problem shared, or a problem shared is a problem halved. And if you share it with more people, then that's more halves. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do these things alone. But even if you do, you should. Push yourself. And if it's very, very difficult or almost out of the question to do the extreme ones, which I do kind of recommend, because you'll grow very, very, very fast and you'll challenge yourself in a huge way. And if you keep doing that, again, you'll level up so fast and it won't be a thing for you. That's the best way to get the fastest results. But if that's too much for you, then start with small baby steps. Like I said, a couple steps out the back, a couple steps out the front. Hold there, wait there for a certain time, build that up until you're able to build up that span, and then go further to the front of the yard, halfway down the street, all the way down the street to your closest park, etc., etc. Utilize nature, right? That will keep your nerves calm. All right. So I just wanted to quickly make this video. I'm going to be making more videos that are much more in depth. So if this is your thing or you want to know more, then definitely follow along on the channel, because I'm looking to do my best to help us all improve and be better, guys. That is my goal, and that is what I'm focused on, and I'm really passionate about, and that's super, super important to me, helping you guys for real. So, and by the way, I just want to also say, for anyone wondering, I'm not just talking about these topics, by the way. These are topics that I have experienced myself. That's mainly what I'm putting on the channel, if not all of what I'm putting on the channel. I'm not just talking about different topics that I haven't experienced and been through and tackled myself, okay? So I just want to make that very, very clear, because it's important to me that you know that I'm not just talking out my buttocks, so to speak. Like, these are things that I've experienced. I've had these challenges and have felt overwhelmed, and I have overcome them, to different varying degrees. Like I said, 2020 was a rough year for me, and it wasn't just then. I went through some real challenges, but they literally forced me to become different. I'm definitely not the same person that I was before 2020, right? I'm built different now. And that's what I'm putting on this channel in order to help you guys. And I'm saying this to you because it doesn't pay to shy away from those scenarios, okay? It really, really doesn't. And I want to just quickly talk about something that's just come to mind that's also hugely, hugely important. So I'll say this and then I'll wrap up the video. I don't want this to make you feel more anxious, what I'm about to say, even though it actually might. So I'll just quickly say this, and I want you to understand the paradigm in which I mean it. Now, it's important to have a safe space, and a space that you can chill out, put your feet up, feel quite comfortable within yourself, and not have to worry so much, right? And that's good, but I need you to understand that, security, safety, all of these things, they don't exist, right? They're a construct and they're a concept. They don't actually exist. Your safe space, or anyone's safe space, or security so much, can be taken just like that, can be destroyed just like that, right? I've seen and experienced it, so I know this for a fact. So the safe space that you have is limited, because that can only last for so long, you know what I'm saying? Because safety and security and all that kind of stuff doesn't exist. So with me saying that, I'm saying that because it's a good thing for you to know, because I don't want you to hang or hold on to this concept of a safe space because you're going to use that as your crutch. But that crutch that you've become so accustomed to doesn't really exist. And at some point, sooner or later, is going to get wiped and washed away. And you're going to fall because you thought that that crutch was real. You can't use a safe space and concepts of security, safety, all of these kinds of things as your crutch because they don't exist. They aren't real. They're concepts, they're constructs, okay? With that in mind, I don't want that to make you feel more anxious. I want that to inspire you to become a better, stronger person who is capable of a lot themselves and are able to rely on themselves, right? How are you going to do that? You're going to take on more challenges and you're going to grow as a person and become stronger, smarter, and more intuitive and self-reliant, okay? That is how you become not only a better person, but reduce anxiety for yourself and also understand that it's okay to feel anxiety to a certain degree because it just means that you are taking on new challenges and golden opportunities to grow, learn, and become a better person, okay? That's the video, guys. I love you guys. I hope this has been really, really useful for you. If it has, follow along on the channel because, like I say, I'm going to be throwing much more useful information to you that can help empower you and better your lives. That is my focus. And yeah, for myself as well. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Love you guys, and I will see you for the next video. Follow along if you enjoy this and it's useful to you. And take care of yourselves, okay? And take those small or large steps, but definitely do those for yourselves. And don't forget those 2 promises that I want you to make for yourselves because that'll allow you to keep on progressing forward, all right? Don't be afraid of challenge. Look at those as golden opportunities. That's what your anxiety is telling you. This is a golden opportunity to learn or grow or challenge yourself in some kind of way. All right, guys? Take care.